Paradoxes that will keep me up at night. Hey man, let's see what y'all talking about.
Because let's say it's 1977 and there's no such thing as the internet or smartphones. Looking for something to do to entertain yourself, you suddenly remember that heap of sand that's in the corner of your living room. I mean, everyone's got one of those. So you decide you're going to relocate the heap of sand to another part of the living room. Except just to make it fun, you decide to move the heap one grain at a time. Why would you do such a thing? Well, kids, because the one thing they did have in the 70s were drugs.
Why is this so low?
Really, really good drugs. So as you're moving the sand grain by grain, a thought occurs to you. At what point does the heap of sand not become a heap anymore? Obviously, if you move one grain, it's still a heap. Same thing with 2 or 3. But what about 100? 1,000? And once it's not a heap anymore, what exactly is it, besides a big mess on your floor that you're gonna have to clean up later? The sororities paradox is all about the vagueness of language. Because the word heap doesn't have a specific quantity assigned to it, the nature of a heap is subjective. It also leads to false premises. For example, if you try the paradox in reverse, you start with a single grain of sand, which is not a heap. Then you could argue that 1 grain of sand plus another grain of sand is also not a heap. Then 2 grains of sand plus another grain of sand is also not a heap. This continues until the statement, a quadribajillion grains of sand is not a heap, which, as we know, does not make sense. Of course, moving a pile of sand from one part of the floor to another part doesn't make a lot of sense either.
What?
This experience teaches us 2 things.
Okay.
First, language can be subjective and may have a different meaning from person to person. And secondly, don't do drugs, kids, especially in the 70s. But what you should do is subscribe. The Hangman's Paradox.
The Hangman's Paradox?
Let's say you're making a cross-country trip, and you get caught speeding in one of those small towns in the south. You go before a judge that has a reputation of being one of the toughest judges around, but you're not too worried. After all, you were just going 7 over the speed limit. How bad could the punishment be? And then the judge sentences you to death. Not only that, he's kind of about it. He tells you that the hanging will take place at noon on one weekday in the following week, but that the execution will be a surprise. You won't know the day of the hanging until the executioner knocks on the cell door at noon that day. The more you think about it, you realize 2 things. First, that's a terrible surprise. The second thing that occurs to you is they're not really gonna hang you. You've thought about it logically, and here's why you came to that conclusion. You begin by concluding that the surprise hanging can't be on Friday, because if he hasn't hanged you by Thursday, there's only 1 day left, and so it won't be a surprise if you're hanged on Friday. You then reason that the surprise hanging can't be on Thursday either, because Friday has already been eliminated, and if you haven't been hanged by Wednesday noon, the hanging must occur on Thursday, making a Thursday hanging not a surprise either. And with the same reasoning, you conclude that the hanging can't also occur on Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday. And joyfully, you retire to your cell, confident that the hanging will not occur at all. The next week, the executioner knocks on your door at noon on Wednesday, which, despite all the above, was an utter surprise to you. Everything the judge said came true. Hopefully this taught you a couple things. First, no matter how smart you think you are, and I know you're smart because you're watching my videos, there's always something you didn't see coming. And the second takeaway? Stay out of the South. If you absolutely have...
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I ain't even gonna re-explain it because he just did. But the 12 on a Wednesday would have got me too. It would have got me too because I would have did the process of elimination. It would have got me too.
After you drive through there, go the speed limit. The teleportation paradox.
The teleportation
paradox. Trek, let's talk about teleportation for a minute. We've all seen it. Maybe you're not old enough for Star Trek, but you've seen it used in X-Men Days of Future Past, or Rick and Morty. Goated show, by the way. If anyone wants to talk Rick and Morty, join my Discord. Link in the description.
I gotta watch the new season of that.
Eating your chicken nuggets and Szechuan sauce. Did you ever think about what exactly happens when you teleport? One minute, you're standing on the Enterprise and wondering why you chose to wear your red uniform.
Basically, what they're doing, isn't a teleportation like the idea of removing atoms and bringing them back in a different location? Like, isn't that the whole idea of a teleportation? Like, you gotta take the atoms, put them somewhere else in a black hole, and put them back. Like, man, realistically, teleportation it really should never be possible. But with enough science and enough magical science, you know what I'm trying to say? You might figure it out one day. We might figure it out one day.
Sure. And the next minute, you're on a strange planet fighting a losing battle with a 6-headed space monster. But how did it happen? There was a version of you that disappeared, and then in the blink of an eye, you were completely rebuilt and appeared in a new location. But is the new version really you? After all, your old self was just completely destroyed and nothing was left. Is the new version the same, or like the sequel to hit movie Finding Nemo, known as Finding Dory, is the new version just not quite the same? And even if the new version is constructed the exact same way, is your soul really still intact? In other words, if it's even still you, is it really you? I mean, you're made up of all the same stuff, but you're not made of the exact same stuff, if that makes any sense at all.
That makes so much
Crocodile
sense.
paradox. This one comes from the 16th century and actually helped shape the language. Imagine there's a mother who's out for a nice walk with her small child.
Okay.
All of a sudden, a crocodile appears and snatches the child. The woman, who's seeing her hopes of being named Renaissance Mother of the Year go up in smoke, pleads with the croc to return the child. In an unexpected twist, the crocodile not only understands her, it proposes a deal. He'll only return the child safely if the mother can correctly guess whether or not he will indeed return the boy. So if the mother guesses that the crocodile will return him, if she's right, he's returned. If she's wrong, the crocodile keeps him. Are you starting to see the problem here? I mean, a problem other than the fact that she appears to be a really bad mom. But if she correctly guesses that the crocodile never intended to return the child, and that was indeed the croc's intention, then the crocodile has to return the child. But in doing so, breaks his word and contradicts the mother's answer. On the other hand, if she's wrong and the crocodile actually did intend to return the boy, the crocodile must then keep him, even though he intended not to, thereby also breaking his word. This conundrum made such an impression on the people in the Middle Ages that they came up with the word crocodilite to describe a dilemma where you admit something that's later used against you. That's one big reason that, to this day, police still employ the tactic of good croc, bad croc when trying to get a confession out of a suspect.
Crocodilite?
The hot dog.
No, I'm not gonna lie. That's a good one. Like, having it be used against you in the correct terminology. Ooh, no, that's a good one. I can't even get.
Paradox. Okay,
Hot
being
dog
real, this
paradox.
one isn't so much of a paradox as it is a question you and your stone buddies would ask each other in your dorm room at 3 a.m. right after you spent an hour debating which orange came first, the color or the fruit. The question is a hot dog a sandwich? Well, first of all, because I know there are some nitpickers.
Actually, we could probably Google search this. What came first, the orange or the color? The orange fruit came before the color orange. The word orange initially referred to the fruit and is used to describe the color came later around the 16th century. According to the word orange has its origins in, I can't say that, which means orange tree. Okay. So the fruit came before the color. But how would you know that the color is the fruit if the color... Well, it's like, I don't know. That's yeah. I don't know. Like, wouldn't the color always be the color though? On a technicality, wouldn't the color always be the color? Because why wouldn't orange always be orange? No matter what that fruit is, orange is always orange. If you later describe it as orange, that then makes the fruit already orange before you knew the color. This nigga retarded? No, bro, like you, no, because you're not thinking about it how I'm thinking about it, bro. This might be dumb, but it's still a thought, bro. Like, if an orange is an orange, wouldn't the color, if the color is the description of the orange and the orange is the description of the color, then that means it's always been orange. Even if it's always been an orange, it's always been orange. So that means you just figured out what the color was based off of the fruit, and the fruit figured out what the fruit was based off of the color, because the color has always been orange. Nah, bro, I'm tweaking.
There. A hot dog is technically just a meat tube.
Nigga, you always been black. Okay? But the orange has always been orange. And if we use the orange to describe orange, then the orange has been orange for orange. And orange is orange because of the orange. But like, it wouldn't be orange without the orange. So the orange needs the orange for the orange to orange. Orange. We only use that in English, dumbass. Alright, bro.
The real question would be, is a hot dog on some sort of bread a sandwich? Notice no one ever asked the real question everyone wants to know.
Oh, is a hot dog a sandwich?
What's actually in a hot dog? As far as the sandwich thing goes, it turned out there is an answer. According to the leading hot dog maker in the world, Oscar Mayer, and the Merriam-Webster dictionary, yeah, a hot dog's a sandwich. But is it really that simple? Surely no one could argue with those authorities, right? Well, say hello to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, which I swear to God is a real organization. Those killjoys.
Hot dog and sausage count. No, it's real. It's actually. I mean, he just told me, but still.
Over the NHDSC say definitively that a hot dog is not a sandwich. They issued a press release and everything, as well as having an entire page of their website devoted to explaining their position. They list 12 reasons to back up their stance, but we're not listening to them all over here. Get over here and read them if you want, but...
If you're... Hold on, wait. If you're watching a great athlete show off during a game, you don't call him a sandwich. Huh? Does ESPN broadcast sandwich eating contest? Wait, I don't even know if y'all can read that. Let's see. Hold on. Move chat. Imagine being at the ballpark with the organ playing, the crowd cheering, and the vendor walking through the stand saying, "Sandwich, get your sandwich here." Okay. Dirty Harry would not have sounded nearly as ominous if he said never ever put mayo on a sandwich. But when he said never put ketchup on a hot dog, people stand up and listen. Okay. Whatever her name is, didn't say that campaign and sandwiches were her favorite foods. It was champagne and hot dogs. Okay. You wouldn't get arrested for putting ketchup on a sandwich in Chicago. Yo, I'm melting out here in Canada. Hypertrack. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. How hot is it in Canada right now? Is it I know it's hot, but is it that hot? It gotta be that hot. Cause for Alexa, what's the temperature outside? 91. It's only 91 over here. It's 106 where you at, bro. Disney said it was 107. Yo, it's OD today. And what, Makai, you said it was 96? Oh yeah, hell no. Okay. There's never any myths or mystic about what's in a sandwich. No one ever sang about wishing they were a sandwich. Okay. You don't go to a ballpark and see racing sandwiches. I guess. Babe Ruth wasn't sent to the hospital and rumored to be dead because he ate too many sandwiches. Canada is hella cold in winter and in a fucking oven in summer. That's surprising because, like, well, the earth is on a tilt. Let me shut the fuck up. The earth is on a tilt. If you won the lottery, would you say sandwich? No, you say hot dog. Man, oh my god. I guess. A lot of places be like that shit. Crazy.
I figure most of you have watching videos on YouTube time, but not.
Yeah, bro. Like, what's a good place that like is constantly around like the same? I mean, I guess like Florida and shit, bro, because they're close to the equator. So since they're close to the equator, wouldn't they be like relatively closer to temperature year round? Like Miami or some shit. Since that shit damn near sit on the equator. What I said, Miami, Hawaii, Jayden, Hawaii.
This is why hot dog is not a sandwich kind of time. Anyway, the experience machine.
Experience
Here's a fun
machine.
one. Let's say you could plug into a machine that would give you any experience you desired. Super duper neuropsychologists could stimulate your brain so that you would think and feel that you were writing a great novel, making a friend, or reading an interesting book. Think of it like entering the Matrix voluntarily. You're just floating in a tank with electrodes attached, but because you're pre-programmed, feels like you're out there racing at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm trying to go
Everest,
to PR.
Or reading a great book with Sydney Sweeney. Because we live in a universe with no apparent purpose, and because our lives are often characterized by
what you mean?
Less than
I don't know if you recognize
like
Hypertrack, but he's from Finesse's community. Oh,
we
what's
have
up,
no good
Hypertrack?
reason to not opt for something substantially better.
Oh, I've never known.
It's quote unquote artificial. But what about human dignity? What about satisfying our true desires? Do those things matter as much as fulfilling every desire you have? This question has been debated by philosophers for centuries. But in fairness, most of those debates happened before Sydney Sweeney was born. Just saying. The free will paradox. Let's talk about free will. We all have it, right? I mean, for the most part.
PR be
like,
warm all year, never get to the
extreme
extreme heat though. PR. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Hey, you better be giving her some flowers. It's still your free will in play. After all, you chose to send her those flowers, just like you chose not to sleep on the couch for a week. But is free will really an illusion? The argument is there's no such thing as free will because every thought and every decision is influenced by some sort of environmental event. Don't believe me? Okay, try this.
Okay, well, the idea of free will changes. It changes. It's been changing and it's gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep changing. That's how I look at it, though.
If free will is real and it's based on your thought process, tell me what your next thought will be. Are you thinking about how to prove free will is real? If you are, you're doing it in response to my question. Now, are you thinking about how you'd like to reach through your phone and rip my esophagus out? Well,
No.
That's just another example of, you know what, I think you get it. Let's move on. The card paradox.
Free
Here's
will
one to
don't
try
exist.
the next time you're at a party. If you never want to be invited to another party. Take an index.
I mean, it's a paradox. It's a paradox. Like dead ass it is. that one I will say is a paradox.
Card and write, the statement on the other side of this card is true. We'll call that statement A. Turn the card over, and the opposite side reads, the statement on the other side of this card is false. Trying to assign any truth to either statement A or B, however, leads to a paradox. If A is true, then B must be as well. But for B to be true, A has to be false. And oppositely, if A is false, then B must be false too.
So this nigga is Schrodinger's cat. He just Schrodinger cat in a paper. That's insane.
Which ultimately makes A true. Sit back and watch the fun as everyone at the party becomes increasingly annoyed. And pretty soon people start asking other questions, including but not limited to, who invited this guy? And why did he bring an index card and not beer like a normal human being? Would it be morally correct to rip out his esophagus? All very valid questions. And here's my favorite paradox of all time. Unlike many others which have been around for centuries and have been pondered by some of the best minds around, this one was dreamed up in this century and has been pondered mainly on TikTok. This is the Rick Astley paradox. According to Rick's 1987 smash hit, Never Gonna Give You Up, he will never give you up and he will never let you down. But let's say your dog just chewed up the DVD of your favorite movie, the 2009 Pixar classic Up. No problem, since your friend Rick Astley is also a huge Pixar fan, and you know for a fact he has a copy of the movie. But because he's Rick Astley, it's the director's cut, with tons of deleted scenes, commentary from the cast, and all kinds of extras. That's when Rick tells you that he can't give you up. After all, it's right there in the title of the song. But because you had your heart set on watching your favorite movie, and because he won't part with his copy, he has indeed let you down. Rick is sad and struggles to process this information. His eye begins to twitch.
Are you fucking kidding me? That one's crazy.
His lips move.
That's just a made up damn
until
scenario.
ultimately his head explodes and he
like
collapses.
this
Great paradox, right? The foreigner paradox.
The foreigner
This is a
paradox.
variation
Okay,
of
what's
the
this
ship
one?
of Theseus paradox, where you gradually replace a ship's boards one by one until eventually the ship has been completely rebuilt with all new boards. The question becomes, is it the same ship? But since nobody builds ships out of wood anymore, let's talk about classic rock bands. In particular, the band Foreigner. They sold over 80 million records in the 70s and 80s with hits like Cold as Ice and Waiting for a Girl Like You. But time is undefeated, and some members have gone to that big jukebox in the sky, while others decided that 50 years on the road is enough. Here's the paradox. Mick Jones was the last original member, and he stopped touring in 2023, but Foreigner still tours, and they'll be at it again this year. So what band are we seeing? With no original members remaining, are you really just seeing a Foreigner cover band with great marketing? So you're Achilles, the greatest runner in Greece. You're jacked, you have a bad heel problem, but let's set that aside for now. As one does, it appears you've decided to raise
this shit really got my brain
he's going up
spinning right
against
now.
turtles.
Hold on.
What's that? Turtles aren't the same as tortoises, you say? Guess we don't need this guy anymore. Look what you've done. So you challenge this turtle because you enjoy winning and like the simple victories. But here's the fun part. You let the tortoise have a small head start, just to make it more exciting. Well, plot twist. This dude named Zeno is convinced that this race will go on forever. Yep. Okay, here's how it goes. Once the race starts, each time Achilles gets to where the tortoise was, the tortoise has moved just a little bit ahead. When Achilles arrives at that new place, the tortoise has already moved forwards again. The gap is getting smaller and smaller, but Zeno says it'll never actually reach zero, meaning Achilles is destined to always chase the tortoise but will never be able to catch him. In reality, that would make no sense. Achilles would easily overtake the tortoise in like 2 seconds. But in the slightly cooler Zeno's paradox, Achilles finds himself stuck in a never-ending cycle of fractions.
Bro.
I hopefully don't need to explain to you that realistically you can travel distances. But at the same time, can you think of an explanation for why the paradox doesn't affect us? The paradox of omnipotence. You're a powerful, wise being, and everything's going well. You can create worlds, split oceans, and still find time for a heavenly rest.
Yo, like, a nigga wish you could become an omnipotent being. You know that the nigga, bro, I'm trying to be a 5th dimensional being, bro. Fuck this 3rd and 4th. Fuck the 3rd and the 4th, bro. 5th. I want to be 5th. I want to exist outside the universe, game. If a universe got destroyed, I'm trying to be outside of that motherfucker. That's where I'm trying to be at. Call me Alien X in this bitch. That's how I'm trying to be.
One day, in Philosophy 101, someone asks, "Hey, Almighty One, can you make a rock so heavy that even you can't lift it?" Yikes. Out of nowhere, you, the most powerful being in the universe, find yourself trapped in a never-ending logic loop. If you create the rock, you won't be able to lift it, which shows there's something beyond your reach. But if you really can't make it, then there's something you won't be able to do. Nobody's gonna win. So option 1, you make the rock and struggle to lift it. Let's say you move forward and make that happen. The perfect stone. It's so heavy and big that not even your incredible, endless strength can lift it up. The rock is the winner, meaning there's something you couldn't do. Lift it up. Your all-powerful credit card? Cancelled. Your resume? Gotta update it, get back on LinkedIn. Option 2 is you can't make the rock. Okay, so maybe you see that the first choice is a trick.
So like on some genie shit? Like, oh, you can't wish on death or make a wish for more wishes type situation?
And you think, I'll find a clever way to answer this question. I just won't make the rock. Awesome, isn't it? Wrong. If you can't manage to move this rock, then there's something you're unable to do. You're supposed to be all-powerful, so where's all the power? Or you just make it and lift it as well, but that would again be a task you couldn't fulfill. It's just an endless loop and a very confusing one. Anyway, if you made it to the end, subscribe and click.
Hey, that one kind of cool. I like that idea because, like, realistically, I feel like omnipotent. Like, what? Hold up, let's actually look this up. Omnipotence, having unlimited power, able to do anything. Deity or supreme being. One who has unlimited power or authority. One who is omnipotent. How exactly do omnipotent characters like Dr. Manhattan work in Death Battle? See, I don't think omnipotent should mean this, but it does, and that's a problem. I think that's the problem here. It means this. The meaning, like, calling yourself all omnipotent. You're an omnipotent being. So it means you have unlimited power. But in order... Yo! Okay, no, I gotta stop. I'm a dead hurt my brain. Because it's not even that, like, I don't understand this shit. It's more so that, like, I will be just like this nigga, running around in a circle trying to figure out how the fuck to do this, complete the task or some shit. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Time travel is where I'm at. I'm not fucking with the rest of this shit, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And my brain, I don't got the capacity. I don't got the capacity to capacitate what I'm trying to put down here, bro. Because realistically, if I'm trying to be omnipotent, that means I'm all powerful. But then that means I have no limits. But in having no limits, I will then reach a limit, bro. I will reach the limit of limitless. So then it means I am in infinite power, right? If I have infinite power, I just told myself I'm not doing this. I literally just told myself I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. No. We gotta end it there. Cause I'm about to just ramble. I will literally start rambling in this bitch. I have like certain ideas and thoughts that make sense in my head, and I cannot have shit like that running through my head. I'm gonna keep it a fat buck. For a nigga that constantly talks about how time travel works and understands that there's different ways to time travel and different rules depending on the way that you time travel, I don't got the time to be trying to tell myself how omnipotence works. Even if I'm a multiple dimensional being, I cannot do it. if I'm even in another reality and omnipotence in that reality is different from the omnipotence in this reality, because that means I could then do something different that I can't do here. So then that makes me non-omnipotent. Yo! Oh my gosh! Bro, I have to stop. Actually, I have to stop. See, bro, this is the problem with my brain. Once I get to this point, bro, I start moving around like the doctor, talking about some goddamn wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, whole bunch of fucked up shit. So what we gonna do here is we just gonna end this. We're gonna end the whole stream. I'm gonna keep it about. We're gonna just end the whole stream. The W stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie. My brain doing too much. Yeah, no. We gonna. Now you confusing me. See what I'm saying? I don't even want to confuse you, because if I do that, I'm gonna have an understanding, and then I'm gonna just want to remove myself from this reality. I'm just gonna want to remove myself from this reality. I can't do it. Nope, can't do it.